So, I'm with the Paramount Theater, as you probably all heard and remember from him, but have any of you been to the Paramount Theater yet? One? Two. Two. So that's why I'm here, because I want you all to come to the Paramount, and I want you to be part of the Paramount, and there's so many ways that the students can really be a part of the Paramount. And we don't have as many students interacting and coming to the Paramount as there could be, and there's so many wonderful opportunities there, all the way from interning to just coming to shows. So I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the theater, and then I'll tell you about the internship possibilities that we have as well. We have had several students intern with us from UVA, and several have come from the Media Studies department, and it has been really fabulous. I have loved having them. They were such an asset, and I really would love to keep having interns come through from UVA. So I'll tell you a little bit about that at the end, but about me, I went to UVA. I graduated in 2003. I was an economics and studio art major. So kind of like you, I'm like, don't know how my brain works quite. But I went to graduate school at the Corcoran College of Art and Design. I studied design there and went through sort of a winding path and ended up now I'm actually the director of marketing at the Paramount. I ended up there because I have a development background, which is a nice word for saying fundraising. And so that's how I ended up where I am. But let me ask you this. Are any of you interested in careers in marketing? You should be an intern for the Paramount. How about, are any of you interested in being in the entertainment industry? Yeah, it's exactly when you were describing the pace, the excitement, the long hours, the really, really high highs and the low lows. I related to it exactly. It is so much fun. It is really cool. It is really hard work, but it's worth it. It really is. So if you've ever thought about being in the entertainment industry and you recognize that, it's certainly worth looking into. Are any of you interested in doing work with nonprofits or anything like that? Okay. So we have various ways that you can come and work with us at the theater in all of those different capacities. And you can volunteer. You can obviously come and attend a show. You can talk to me later in depth about a marketing internship. We also have an audio engineering internship that you work with our audio engineers. It's very, very cool. You do have to have some level of expertise, though, to qualify for that. So I'll tell you a little bit about that, too. But you're all first years, correct? Okay. And were you all familiar with Charlottesville before you got here? Not really? Okay. Have you been downtown on the mall yet? I know it's a little bit harder as a first year. And have you been to a concert yet? I know some of you have, but a lot of you. That's awesome. That's great. That's great. So Charlottesville, as you probably have guessed and have experienced, some of you already, has just an absolutely incredible arts music scene. It is really thriving. Everything from the Virginia Film Festival, which you guys are involved in, the Festival of the Photograph, just incredible amounts of things, but also an incredible amount of music. And so we have the Paramount, we have the Pavilion, we have John Paul Jones Arena, we have the Jefferson Theater, we have the Southern, all of these things in a really small town, all presenting incredible acts. And it's really, really, really worth taking advantage of while you're here. It's amazing. And as I said, I graduated from UVA, and I graduated in 2003. So when I was here from 1999 to 2003, guess how many of those venues were open?
Just the Paramount. Was the Paramount even open then? I can't remember that. No, that's right. It was under renovation, right?
Right.
There was tracks. I remember
Tracks.
Tracks.
Oh, geez.
So not a single one of those. So you think about that. 250 some shows produced a year, probably from all those venues combined, didn't exist 10 years ago. Didn't even exist. And a large part of that is because the Dave Matthews Band is from Charlottesville. So his management company, Red Light Management, have you all heard of Red Light? Also another fabulous avenue for internship if you're interested in music entertainment industry specifically. They have an internship program as well. So certainly worth looking into there. We work with them very closely, interestingly. Red Light actually owns the Pavilion, the Jefferson Theater, and the Southern, or relatively similar management. So they place a lot of artists at those theaters. They also place a lot of artists at the Paramount. So because of that, we interact with them a lot. And so it's really interesting. You get to see a lot about how kind of the backside of the music world works. And you get to meet a lot of artists, which is, it has its upsides. It makes the long hours worth it. So jumping around here on what I prepared to talk. So let me just jump to this. So the Jefferson Theater actually opened in 2009. The Pavilion opened in 2005. The John Paul Jones Arena opened in 2006, and the Paramount officially reopened in 2004. And that was with a sold-out performance for Tony Bennett. And that was one of the first big acts that had been here in a while. Now, there were obviously always big acts that would go to Scott Stadium. But other than that, there really wasn't a venue for this until then. So what we learned, people were dying for performing arts. Obviously, they're now supporting these 5 major venues. So people were flocking to the Paramount. And they were so excited because it was restored. And that's kind of an interesting part of the Paramount's history. So we learned not only that people were really, really wanting performing arts in Charlottesville, and they were willing to come to it, but the Paramount was sort of the start may be a little bit of a markup, but was at the start of the downtown mall becoming what you see it and how you know it today. Even when I was in school, it wasn't as fabulous as it is now. It was a little questionable at times. Yeah, it had some nice restaurants, but we didn't go there very much. So our theater was built in 1931, and it was built by, obviously, the Paramount Corporation. And unlike the other Paramount theaters around the world, it was built as an homage to Thomas Jefferson. So it was neoclassical in design, and it's absolutely, really, really a beautiful theater. The Paramount thrived for many years after it was built. It resembled the downtown mall. It resembled the successes and the failures of the downtown mall. So as the downtown mall was doing well, the Paramount did well. As it faded, so did the Paramount. In 1974, the Paramount closed. And the Paramount went into a state of disrepair. And so, as you can see from some of these pictures that I'll show here, the Paramount as we know it today is really an amazing feat. The community rallied around it, donated a lot of money, completely restored it, and now it is what it is. So this is a picture, hopefully you all can see this, but this is a picture of the Paramount facade before, and this is a picture.
Could we pass it around?
Yeah.
Or maybe try the document. Well, document camera won't really, it's too big for the document camera.
We can pass it around.
Sure.
So, and this is,
Just bring them around that way and I'll get them back.
and this is a picture of the Paramount now. This is kind of, starts to show the story. But this is a picture of the Paramount ballroom. And this one really probably needs to be passed around. But it's completely demolished on the inside because for 30 years it was completely vacant. And this is a picture of the ballroom now. So you can see it's amazing that they were able to restore it. This is a picture of the auditorium now. And before, of course. And it was completely, basically in a state of ruin. And this is a picture of the auditorium now. So it's really quite beautiful. place. So we have a huge amount of artists that come through the Paramount, and we are a nonprofit. So part of our nonprofit role is to present lots of different types of artists for lots of different reasons. Some theaters, like the Jefferson, focus on certain genres of music, and they do that because they're a for-profit business, and it makes sense for them to do that. We are, as a nonprofit, our goal is to be as much as for the community as we can. So we span talk, music, comedy, you name it, everything. So one of the things that is a key way that you can get involved with the Paramount is simply by coming to shows. We have so many things that are fabulous. You can always find our listings on theparamount.net. But the big thing for students is there's a student rush ticket price, which is 50% off of a ticket price. So you can come to any show for 50% off. You have to come to the box office the day of the show, present your student ID. That's the only qualifier. If the show is sold out or you think it might sell out, you want to get your ticket ahead of time. Rarely does that happen where you can't at least get a certain level of tickets for Student Rush. Even just this month, we have Nico Case coming, we have Amos Lee coming, we have lots of different performances that are coming that may be of interest to you. So it's something to certainly take advantage of, especially when you can get the 50% off. We have the Virginia Film Festival coming in November. Absolutely worth doing while you're here. It's really, really cool. Lots of films come through, not only the Paramount, but other venues in town. It's great, absolutely great thing to do.